Oops, my bad, guys. I forgot to hit the unmute there in the microphone. Typical. Yeah, I got so excited about having this guest join me on today's show. Forgot to add the audio. But not to worry, just a quick click of the button there. But joining me on today's show is oh, I see still people saying no audio. How are we doing now, guys? Audio is back, is it? I'd imagine it should be there, hopefully. Yes, there we go. I think I'm coming through loud and clear there now. Yeah, everybody sorted. There is audio. Yes, sorted. Happy days. But yeah, guys, joined here today by Elijah, as you can see, beautiful little boy. Yeah, snug as a bug, enjoying life. Has been having a wonderful experience in the first 6 days of his existence here on Earth. It'll be his first week here tomorrow. But what a bundle of joy. So Elijah wanted to join me today on today's 420 news, as he didn't want to wake up. He's been due a bottle for well over an hour now, and he's just been so snug inside my arms there. He hasn't woke up out of his nap. He might wake up in the next 5 or 10 minutes here, and as we get through the news. But not to worry, we have a bottle at the ready for the little man. So yeah, guys, this is my new son, and his name is Daniel, or Elijah Daniel. Almost said that the wrong way around. So how's everybody doing out there? Nice one, guys, for letting me know about the audio issues. I don't have my headphones on, so I wouldn't have even realised that the mic was muted. Podge is out there. Sean is in the audience. Husky is there. Hype, what's going on, Hype? Hunter K as well, Oisin Bradley. Others out there. Orange Man Bad, nice one for the heads up and the sound there. Orange Man Bad. Alan Schubert as well. Is anyone getting audio? Sorry about that, guys, my bad. And yeah, Podge saying hello there to beautiful Elijah. Anybody else out there? Greenbird, what's happening, Greenbird? Greenbird saying sup to Martin and Elijah, welcome to the world and show, little man. And what a show it's going to be for him. R4's 20 supplies in the audience as well. What's going on, R420? And Mickey Mulcreevy out there as well. What's going down, Mickey? And that's everybody. I believe I've gotten to everybody there in the audience so far. Anyway, keep the comments coming in, guys, as we go through one or two of the headlines that I've lined up for you today. Didn't get the usual opportunities to prepare for today's 420 news, so we do have a couple of articles which I have read through. And I've those lined up there over on the Chrome, so I don't have any lower thirds or any of that fancy stuff for today's show, but I'm sure you can all appreciate the fact that my time is going elsewhere at the moment. Yes, and I see Anthony Mooney out there saying congrats on the joint campaign, Martin, which is part of the first headline today for the 420 news. Pop it up on screen. Oops, pop it up on screen there now for you. There we go. Excellent stuff. So this is the Cannabis National Legalized Cannabis Day campaign, which myself and other campaigners got involved in. This was organised. This was a joint campaign by myself, the Cannabis Activist Alliance, which I'm also a part of, and the Relief Cannabis Cafe and R420 Supplies as well as many others out there. That wasn't just limited to those four there that we mentioned, but they were leading the campaign, that's for sure, and others definitely got involved as we went through. But what I found quite interesting, I suppose, in this particular article, this was put up by the Independent.ie, written by a guy, Shannon Maloney. And just looking at his picture here now, in fairness, like, you know, you can kind of make an assumption as to who this guy is and who he might associate with. Like, you know, he probably buys his suits there at the same place as our buddy Frankie Fian. So they're probably buddies there, and have very similar opinions. But this guy goes off in some queer tangent. You know, he starts talking about the security issues that have been brought up because of this campaign. You know, and he talks about an unidentified source, a source who remains who wants to remain anonymous from inside in the Leinster House, who said that, while this was a publicity stunt, it highlights that a much bigger issue, that this could have been anthrax. It's like, in fairness, like, there is an informant of independent.ie said, okay, it was a stunt, but what if it had been anthrax? Like, I wonder if this informant's name rhyme with Hank Hean, you know? You have to wonder there, like, as to the legitimacy there of that source of information. But very distasteful journalism, really. Again, like, you go back to 20 years ago when Luke Flanagan was carrying out his campaign. There was, I suppose, a very legitimate scare going on at the time because of anthrax. But right now, there is no relevance at all to this campaign, that being of anthrax, unless it is you want to associate our campaign with that of terrorist organisations who send anthrax in the mail. Very distasteful journalism, in fairness, like, but that this is, I suppose, a government-sponsored fucking newspaper, if that is a thing, they're very much in favour of the current government, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, and the boys, so they don't want to be rocking the boat there for them at all, and in fact, that's why they spun this article in the way that they did. And again, if for anybody out there who wants to have a read off of a good write-up of this, go over to Cork Bio. So far today, I've to say that the Cork Bio article is definitely the best one out there. So definitely go give that one a read, and if you're going to share any of them, this is the one to share. Extra.ie also got an old article up there covering it too. But again, I had shared some words with Graham McGrath, the journalist here who covered this one. But maybe he had this article written and submitted before that conversation. In fact, seen around the 9th to the 11th here, quite possibly that was the case. Because I gave him some good answers in response to the questions he actually asked me. I just thought that those would have been much more worthwhile including in that. And in fact, what I might do there, just on that, I might pop it up on screen, just some of the questions and answers in which I gave to that particular journalist there. So just bear with me 1 second. I'll pull up those questions that he asked me and the answers in which I gave. So there we go, Graham McCormack. So we'll pop this back up on screen there now for you all to see. Boom. So Graham McCormack asked me, firstly, was there cannabis in all of the cigarettes you sent out, or did some include oregano? And I just kind of highlighted the fact that all of the joints sent out contained cannabis, but only one joint actually contained oregano, and that was Frank Fian's. And I did that kind of on purpose. We tainted his joint with a bit of parsley, not oregano, just to highlight the dangers there associated with the unregulated nature of cannabis. That, you might buy some cannabis, but it mightn't even be cannabis. And if you're getting parsley, that's a very low risk substance to receive instead of cannabis. Some other people receive stuff that's actually tainted with synthetic cannabinoids, which is incredibly dangerous. So again, I just kind of finish off with saying prohibition is anything but a health-led approach, and that was the aim of the campaign. And again, the journalist didn't include that. But as I said, that was the 10th of November, I was getting a response back to him. So that was after that that article had been published. So hopefully there's a follow-up article maybe, but I don't think there will be. He asked me how much did the cannabis cost, but I told him it didn't cost anything. It was donated by a local cannabis gardener, but it wasn't just a local cannabis gardener actually, it was also the Relief CBD Cannabis Cafe and R420 Supplies as well. They also donated quite a bit of their CBD flowers in the form of pre-rolls. So this campaign didn't cost me basically anything but my time. And I also have to give a shout out there to everybody who has supported the show in any way financially over the last couple of months, because it was an incredible that have that ability there, that have a pool of resources to go down and buy all of the stamps needed to run this campaign. So that was 200 stamps that we purchased for that. So that was a cost of €200. So thanks to everybody, the hype, to Podge, to everybody who's sent any financial support to the show, because that saves me having to put into my pocket to run these campaigns. So having that support there, guys, it's incredibly helpful. And I just noticed there actually as well, Hype actually has sent in a bit of financial support there to the show, which does go a very long way in helping with the show, but more importantly with the fight for cannabis legalization in Ireland. So thanks very much for that, Hype, as always. And Hype says, congratulations to Elijah on his first episode as co-host. Yeah, he's doing a good job here anyway, keeping me in line. He says I'm making his job easy for him. Great supervisor. So yeah, thanks very much, guys, to everybody who has financially supported the show and the fight for cannabis legalization in Ireland. It really is much appreciated. There was some good answers there. Anyway, I was just kind of pointing out in that. Yeah, I asked, have I got a reply from TDs, and I kind of highlighted the fact that Oliver Moran actually posted on his social media. And Mick Barry as well. I thought it was very interesting. Mick Barry, I met him a couple of months ago in the city when I was out taking pictures of the cannabis plants which I planted in an act of civil disobedience. And Mick Barry commended me back then, and he's done so again on this campaign, and stating the fact that it reminds him of the time when he was running a campaign of civil disobedience, where when condoms were illegal, and he was putting illegal condom machines in the bathrooms of pubs and nightclubs as a form of harm reduction, but also as a civil disobedience protest. So I'm glad. I'm really happy to hear that comparison. Because having condoms illegal, it's as nonsensical as having cannabis illegal. So that was a very successful campaign, I have to say. I on the publicity side of it, it's got the media talking. We've gotten the attention now of the nation through the different media outlets, albeit say through the independent.ie, not in the way in which we would have liked it to have went, but still nonetheless it's out there, it's been talked about. I see it over on Reddit Ireland, the Ireland subreddit. That's quite a tough nut to crack, but by and large 90%, 99% of the comments over there are in support of the campaign. So that's great to see as well, So a very successful campaign indeed. And let's hope it's successful in its secondary. Oh, hey, there we go, mister. Little bit of wind popping up there. I think he might be waking up for his bottle there now quite soon. But yeah, let's hope it's successful in its secondary campaign there in opening the minds of the prohibitionists within our government. Because the message contained within the letters, hopefully if they read it and let that sink in, that should, let them be more able to see the light in that regulation is a much better means of achieving harm reduction than prohibition. So that's fingers crossed. The first mission of the campaign, complete success. We got the nation's attention. Second mission now, let's hope it opens the mind of those who've been supportive of prohibition up to now. And maybe by the time the Citizens' Assembly rolls around and Gino Kenny's bill, more importantly, rolls around, we'll have done our part as campaigners to get the support there that's needed to bring about the change that we so much desire, Yeah, is the new boss waking up? No, I think you might find that the sound of my voice may be a bit relaxing. He's quite content there and staying in this nap. Oh, bless him. Jeez, I'd sit here and look at him now for the whole show. I would. He's just it's just so lovely just to sit there and look at him, like, just so peaceful. Mustawis, thanks very much there, Mustawis, as well. Mustawis getting a bit of financial support there for the show and for the fight for cannabis legalization in Ireland. Really much appreciated, Mustawis. Thanks very much, pal. And say thanks to Mustawis. Yeah. Yes, Podge, definitely agree with that sentiment coming in there in the hot box right now. 100%, yes. The middle finger to prohibition. Like the effect of prohibition means, like, me as a cannabis consumer, by punishing me and taking me away, like, you're indirectly punishing this guy. Like, this guy benefits from having me around. I love being a dad for this little guy, changing his nappy, feeding him, and all of that stuff, and just cradling him and looking at him, It's a real sin. It's a real crime against humanity to do that, to the people, like, it's just a real backwards way of doing it, and like that's very much evident across the United States, where in certain communities, there's a lot of single parent families, but mainly because of the war on drugs, the prohibition of drugs, father has been locked up, the 3 strike rule for 10, 20 years over there. Really messed up. And we wonder why then in those same communities drug problems continue to exist. Well, maybe because kids are growing up without father figures in their lives, and therefore, they end up exhibiting, these problematic behaviours such as drug addiction or drug abuse, sorry. So in other news out there then, guys, and we have one or two other headlines there just to get through for you today. We just pop it up on screen there now. The escaped prisoner, John Mangan, the escaped prisoner who escaped from the open prison above in, I believe it was in the Midlands, above in Portlaoise maybe. Oh, how was you doing, my little man? Yeah, as he just fill in his nappy a little bit for me. Leave me little gifts down below. But John Mangan, the escaped prisoner who was in prison serving a 10-year sentence for possession of over €1 million worth of cannabis, he's after being caught up again by Gardaí, and he's been put back now into what they call a closed prison. He doesn't have the benefit of the open prison any longer, unfortunately for John. But he's back now in handcuffs behind bars. So yeah, it's a kind of another funny one again, the Gardaí having to go out and expend all of those resources to go and find this guy. And again, he's quite a dangerous prisoner too, because he was being up. He wasn't ever convicted, but he was certainly a suspect within the murder of a couple of individuals, or at least one individual anyway, at a point in the past. He was also caught with a loaded pistol as well, back in 2006 when he was caught with the €2 million worth of cannabis at the time. So yeah, that's again, people like this guy, you don't want to be supporting him, and by keeping prohibition in place, you're supporting this guy. You make it possible for him to have in his possession such an incredible, valuable commodity, which is cannabis. Me and you, many of you out there, guys, we so desire cannabis, which puts up the value of it, but there's nothing puts up the value of cannabis like prohibition. And without prohibition, you wouldn't have people like John Mangan, well, you would still have him, but he wouldn't be as powerful as what he currently is, So again, another failure here of prohibition, and another complete waste of the resources by the authorities having to go after this guy. And in other news out there as well, guys, and sticking with Ireland as well, there was a man up in court, and what he was up in court for was for growing cannabis. And this is the case of Mark Hyde, who's 42 years of age and from above there in Dublin. Not going to read out his address, even though it's printed there on the screen. But he was caught growing cannabis by the authorities back in February 2020, so just at the beginning of the pandemic. An unfortunate one for this guy, as there was never if there was ever a time you needed some cannabis, it was when you were being forced to stay home by your government during the pandemic. But unfortunately for Mark Hyde, he had his home raided by the authorities, and when they raided his house on the day, they found 15 seed trays with one cannabis seed in a soil sod in each of them. They also found plants growing in 2 tents, and Hyde told the Gardaí that the plants were his, and that he had forced his partner to go along with it. He showed them 4 large Tupperware tubs of cannabis leaf, and this was later estimated to have a street value of just under €7,000. Guys, cannabis leaf is not worth €7,000. They're sticking the €20 a gram value on it, based upon, as if this was a cannabis flower, the bud. Which it wasn't. That was literally the sugar leaf of it, worth far, far less. You would have to say 10 to 20 times less than what they're actually saying here. The leaf might have been worth €500 tops. Hyde told him that the smaller of the 2 tents was used to germinate the seeds, and that once the plants were bigger, he moved them into the larger tent, which is a very common method employed by cannabis gardeners out there. They employ 2 tents, a smaller one for the vegetative period of the plants, and the larger one then for the flowering period of the plants. So that is a very common method employed, not sophisticated in any way as the Gardaí might try to lead you on to believe. But he admitted that he intended to harvest all of the plants and to sell the cannabis leaf to a number of friends. He said he was doing this to get money to pay bills and that he was struggling financially, which many of us are out there, guys. You know what I mean? The government have really messed things up there, and we had mass immigration going back there in 2018. And for those who stayed, you know, some of them chose to maybe start growing cannabis as a means of supplementing their income and helping dealing with the rising bloody bills because, you know, carbon taxes and all of that. But look, we won't go there. We'll stick to the one issue, cannabis. This individual here, Mark Hyde, he had previous convictions, and the court was told that in December 3rd, 2012, he received a suspended prison sentence for 3 years for the cultivation of cannabis again. So this guy, like, he's an avid gardener, and it's very unfortunate, you know, that he's not allowed to exercise that green thumb of his legitimately here in Ireland, and instead he's forced to go underground. And I'd imagine, you know, given the fact that he's been doing this for quite some time, he's got a lot of experience to offer the community in his ability to grow cannabis. You know, he doesn't seem to be too... He doesn't seem to be too greedy either, you know what I mean? He's got 2 tents, a vegetative tent and a flowering tent. Like that's not any way too ambitious there. It's more than enough to grow a bit of cannabis for yourself. And again, just to get enough there to supplement your income in a small way, not a significant way, a very, very small, modest way of supplementing your income. Anyway, the long and short in this, the judge sentenced him to 3 months in prison, but suspended it for 12 months. So lucky for this guy, he's not going to be going to prison, but unfortunately he still is going to be getting a criminal conviction for his cultivation of cannabis. Although, you know, it's probably no problem for this guy because he has it in one from the past. He also admitted that he wasn't going to use drugs anymore, and he's getting help with his drug problems, which is, I don't know, I just hate the fact that people have to be pushed into saying that in order to get any bit of a leniency there from the courts, you know what I mean? This little guy's enjoying the show. So yeah, that's an unfortunate case again from the courts there. Again, another incredible waste of resources. And we look at this guy, Mark Hyde. He could have been like, you know, the local cannabis cultivator, the local cannabis connoisseur, where you go down to get the best locally grown cannabis. And by doing so, you know, you're supporting jobs in the local community. Maybe the likes of Mark, he might have went on to hire a couple of people, shared with them the skills, the knowledge, the how to grow the cannabis, to produce a fine crop, to cater for the community. And those people might go on to also excel and train other people, you know, and like it's a very stimulating, positive stimulation for the local community and the economy as well. But unfortunately, we're treating people like this as criminals. Lunacy, absolute lunacy. So Mark, if you're out there, dude, if you want to share with me your experience at the courts, and if you want to just get a bit of the frustration off your chest, by all means, reach out. I'd be more than happy to have you on. I'd love to speak with cannabis growers from across the island of Ireland. We drive on, guys, to the next headline, where above in the north of Ireland, this is a very interesting case which I came across. A police officer who was attending a call out to assist with a woman who was exhibiting suicidal behaviour. This woman was obviously clearly distressed, and when the guards, the authorities arrived, I believe that there was a possible firearm. There was a mention of a firearm within the article, but the woman definitely had a knife. And the authorities had to use the tasers. They had to taser the lady and render her incapable of harming herself, because she had a knife, obviously, so she was threatening to harm herself. But in the process of the investigation, while the officers were attending to the woman, one of the officers opened a kitchen drawer and found 2 packages which were suspected to contain cannabis. And this was picked up on his body camera. So these PSNI officers were wearing body cams. And what was witnessed is that the cop opened the drawer, picked up the two plastic bags, observed what was in them, but put them back into the drawer, because he was going into the drawer to actually get a tea towel, to assist the woman who was bleeding. I don't know if it was profuse bleeding or what, but it was coming from the woman's mouth, as indicated here by the article. But in the officer's defence, then he stated, you know, that like his first priority, the priority that was most important to him at the time, was assisting the woman, and that when he noticed the bags which contained cannabis, like he forgot about it. It went out of his mind, you know. And it's unfortunate because this guy is going to be disciplined for what was an incredible act of compassion. Like, this guy was much more concerned about the health and welfare of the woman who he was called out to assist, than he was with criminalising the woman any further. A follow-up search of the woman's house found some more cannabis leaf inside in another drawer, and some growing equipment as well, but no cannabis plants were found at the property. So, you know, it's very unfortunate that the cops who were called out to help a woman would also victimize the woman then while in the process of helping her. And a cop then who would be compassionate enough to kind of ignore the cannabis, which is a minor, it's a non-issue really, given what was actually going on there. And that officer is now going to be disciplined. The officer wasn't disciplined by the ombudsman, but it is being suggested by the ombudsman that he be disciplined by the station, back at his offices, however that might be. Maybe it's a kind of a week off without pay or something like that. But it says here the guy's got an impeccable record. He's a good cop, like, if such a thing exists. So this was an interesting article, all right, to come across. And I just say, you know, tip my hat there to the cop involved, you know, for showing that bit of compassion and being able to be human, and to focus on the thing that mattered, which was the health and the welfare of the woman you were assisting, and to not to distress her any further with, you know, by criminalising her for such a minor thing as having cannabis in her home. So that was over on the Belfast Telegraph, for anybody who wants to go and read that in its entirety. And in another headline, there was another case of a man who was up before the courts for growing cannabis again. This is a case coming out of Portlaoise, and it was a case for a man by the name of Roman Ostapov, who was 39 years of age, and he was found in possession of €450 worth of cannabis when the Gardaí were carrying out a surveillance operation. And during that surveillance operation, Mr. Oskapov was observed meeting with somebody, I believe, and he was found in possession of €450 worth of cannabis. The cops later went back to his property, and they found cannabis plants there estimated to be valued at €4,800. This was based because, what was it? They valued the plants of €800 each. So that's 6 cannabis plants the guy had. Is it 6? 4,800? Yeah, 6 cannabis plants. Yeah, sorry, I just had to do my maths there for a second. So 6 cannabis plants that the guy had. Also, this guy actually got the 3 months in prison. Apologies, I'm just going to quickly go back to this guy and see what he got. This guy's case, actually, my apologies there, guys. His case got adjourned until February of next year. In that previous case, my apologies. I mixed up those two articles. This guy got a 3-month suspended sentence, a 3-month sentence suspended for 1 year, and also had to pay a €100 fixed charge in the event of an appeal. That's if he's going to appeal it. So again, yeah, that's absolutely crazy. He got caught with 6 cannabis plants. He gets a 3-month suspended sentence, suspended for 1 year. Like, the cops basically, what they're saying in this, like, you know, we're seeing all these suspended sentences for cannabis possession, cannabis cultivation. It's effectively saying that they can't really lock us all up. You know, it's more in the court's interest to kind of give people suspended sentence to try to hope that, you know, that's enough of a scare tactic there to deter people from engaging in any further crime. But they can't continue to lock us all up because they can't afford to do it, really, and they don't have enough room there to do it either. Um, so this man said that he came to Ireland from Estonia back in 2004. He worked as a machine operator here and is now working in the agricultural area. And I don't know, is that a bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing to say, really, by the man, and given the situation? But he says he was using cannabis at the time. He had bought the seeds in line, had germinated them to grow them, and it was his first time to try it, and he had not harvested any cannabis from the plants at all. Yeah, that's not a good bad story to go with. He had stopped smoking cannabis now and has cooperated with the Gardaí. That's also something I mixed up in the last article as well. This is the guy who said he has stopped smoking cannabis now and cooperated with the Gardaí. It says also he had a car accident in '97 from which a medical issue arose. He was working as a general operative, never relied on social welfare, and he pleaded guilty early. So I'm wondering there is that medical issue being brought up? Is he saying that he was actually using cannabis as a means to treat that medical issue? Don't know enough there, but you're Roman Ostapov, if you're out there, buddy, if you'd like to elaborate on that one, man, I would love to know more. But these are just some of the cases that were before the courts here in Ireland this year or this week. And this is just one more of the cases that was before the courts here in Ireland. And this is the case coming out of Thurles, where again another individual had his home raided, and the Gardaí found what was just €20 worth of cannabis. Like, imagine having your home raided for €20 worth of cannabis. Like, what were they actually thinking and looking for? You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. So this is a case of a Thurles man who was found in possession of €20 of cannabis in his home, and he was brought to court for it. His case is he was ordered to complete a restorative justice program by January 25th. So again, this is another incredible cost here to the taxpayers. What the restorative justice program is, it's an initiative whereby criminals engage with, as they kind of describe it, the victims of their crime. But who's the victim of this guy's crime? Like, this guy was literally caught with €20 worth of cannabis. He's the victim of his own crime. He gets to go into a room and sit down and talk to himself. Oh man, absolutely crazy. Like, here's some of the things. We work in partnership with the courts, the probation service, victim advocates, community representatives, and Garda Síochána. We offer restorative programs that focus on meeting the needs of victims of crime whilst also challenging the behaviour of those in our community who offend. We believe crime hurts victims and their families. Crime affects the offender, their family, and the wider community. The victim's voice should be heard. The offender should accept responsibility and reflect upon the consequences of their action and offer to repair the harm caused. But how can you do that when there's virtually no harm caused by your crime of growing cannabis, of consuming cannabis, of possessing cannabis? There is no harm there. It's like, show me where's the pathway for reparations there? There is none, because nobody got victimized. Like, in fact, like it says there, the crime affects the offender. Like, the only way the crime affects the offender when it comes to cannabis is if you get fucking caught with it. You know, or if because of prohibition you end up buying cannabis that's adulterated, contaminated with some nasty, noxious chemical. Man, like, when will this madness end? Like, you know, and people just go along with it. Nobody questions this. Like, you know, all of these people, you know, this guy here in this case, you know, oh, I'm giving up cannabis, judge. I'll be a good boy, judge. Like, when are people just going to get a backbone and stand up and challenge these charges and kind of say, hey, come here, I'm doing nothing wrong. Like, leave me alone. Like, you know, if, like, you're the one victimizing me, you're the one causing me problems in my life. Like, you know, when will they, like, that's where I'm at this, like, and that's why the gloves are off. That's why I just have that no F's attitude, you know. I just don't anymore. I'm sick and tired of it. The harm coming upon me, it's because of prohibition, not because of cannabis. And I can't help but see it any other way. I see lots of comments coming in there. Nice one. Really do appreciate it. I can't stay too long out visiting here. He's beautiful. Love and your smile says it all. Nice one, guys. Thanks for all the congratulations coming in there on the baby as well in the comments. Really appreciate that. 4,800 Irish prices. Yeah, right. Yeah, it is. It's a gas pricing, isn't it? Like, in fairness, like the true cost of the cannabis, like it's less than €1 a gram. When you grow it yourself. Like, I've been told growers are growing it out there for as little as 20 cents a gram. That's how cheap you can grow cannabis if you decide to grow cannabis for yourself. Yeah. Dave Gorman says can't lock up 2.5 million people in a country of only 5 million. Jason K says the door they broke cost more than €20. Exactly. And the fact that they found €20 worth of cannabis means that they don't even have to pay for that damage they caused. It justifies it. And he goes on. Jason goes on to say, with them all banging on about sustaining the climate and the diesel they used to get there was a waste and a joke. Yeah, no, it is. It's a complete joke. The amount of pollution associated with the war on drugs, it's crazy, and it's never talked about. The environmental cost of waging a war on drugs. How much did it cost the state to do that shit raid and that shit program? Thousands, Podge. Fucking tens of thousands, I would say. Because if you were to think about it, the restorative justice, like, there's going to be a person in there engaging with that person. That person's getting a wage. There was the judge, there was the cops, there was the solicitors, tens of thousands, I would imagine, just in that one case alone. You're right, my little man. Oh. Ah. Really surprised he hasn't woke up for his bottle yet. He's just so cozy. Others out there, Dave Gorman, €20 of cannabis in his own home, hang him till the stops twitching. Yeah, there's probably prohibitionists out there who would think that would be a good approach, alright. Works well in other countries, doesn't it? Not. The DPP said themselves, it's if it's not in the public interest, don't prosecute. Well, there you go, Mustawiz. They don't listen to their own advice, unfortunately, because it's not in the public interest to prosecute people for personal possession of drugs or personal cultivation of cannabis either. Yeah, someone needs to call them out on the public interest factor, even sue them if needed. Yeah, I would agree with you there as well, Mustawiz. I hope that somebody does that. John Finnegan says, the Baba, he's a little handsome. He's a handsome little dude. A nice one, John. And Orange Man Bed. The only thing criminal about cannabis is the price in some places. There you go, Orange Man Bed. Now you're speaking my language. That's for sure. Like, it's criminal. As I said, it's produced for as little as €20 a gram. Like, there's no reason you should be paying like what is that? Is it 10,000 times the value? €20 is, 20 cent 10 times to, 100 times the value, 100x. Ashton, oh my god, Baba. Baba is snoozing. He's a little dot. Dave Gorman says, I heard in the USA they used to spray cannabis with a mixture of Coca-Cola and whiskey to add weight. Yeah, that's right, actually. There was talks of them adding like sugary drinks and stuff like that in order to kind of increase the frosty appearance of the cannabis. A lot of the times it was just like sugar-laden water rather than Coke. It's easier just to mix sugar and water than buy a bottle of Coke. John Finnegan says, I'm guessing Elijah is the reason you went live early. Yeah, guys, the reason I'm live early, actually, and I never gave that a reason earlier, is we actually have an appointment later on this evening, and in the next half an hour, actually. So I won't be able to make the 4:20 news today, but I will be able to stay with you maybe up until about 4:20. I'll be able to ring in the 4:20 with you, and we'll say our goodbyes then. So that is the reason I went a little bit of live earlier today. This little man's got a little checkup. All is well. He's healthy out and doing very well. But yeah, he's just got an old health checkup to do. So yeah, that's the reason for the live show today, guys. Hopefully you don't mind. Pete Mac, I wish there was helping. I was there helping out. Like I said before, my favourite place to be is Ireland. Anything people can do from the States. Pete Mack, just sharing just the campaigns that we're running here in Ireland. But also, from the States, you can still contact your local representatives, whoever they might be, and just kind of highlight the fact that, you're over there in the States, maybe you're in somewhere where it's actually legal to get access to cannabis, and just highlight the hypocrisy there and the problems that you face when you return home to Ireland, when you can't get access to cannabis, when you're forced to get access to cannabis through the black market, and that you no longer would like you no longer wish to do that, and you would rather that you get treated like with the same respect as alcohol consumers are, tobacco consumers are when they buy their drug of choice here in Ireland. So that's just some small things that you can do from across the pond. You can still interact with your politicians here. And if you're aware of any media over there as well, it's always good to have these stories shared with the media across the pond too. I'm sure that there's different media outlets over there who like a good old Irish story from time to time. John Finian says, his first comment on Martin's World. uh, Anthony Mooney says, "Govs are all for science until it comes to medicinal plants. Then it's all reefer madness regurgitated." I can't agree with you there any more than that, Anthony, man. Yeah, it's all about the science up until it's like, oh, cannabis. No, let's throw the science out there. Like the funniest one was the World Health Organization. Like they made recommendations to reclassify cannabis before this pandemic started, and we had a United Nations gathering where they voted on these recommendations, and they actually went against what the World Health Organization recommended at a time when we were told to listen to the World Health Organization. It's just like so hypocritical. And the guy's just like, no, we're right, we're going to do this. We're going to ignore the World Health Organization at the same time as we're telling you to listen to the experts. Fucking corrupt as hell. Green Tea, thanks very much, Green Tea, there as well. Getting in some support for the show via a super chat function on YouTube. Saying congratulations, Martin. Thanks very much, Green Tea. Really do appreciate all of the support there, guys, that's coming through the show today. Thanks very much, guys. As I said, it does go a long way to help support the fight for cannabis legalisation in Ireland, as it gives me access to resources I didn't have before, where I would have been having to put my hand into my pocket and sometimes maybe actually not going ahead with campaigns as my pockets weren't deep enough at times, even, just some simple things. I've been able to get a printer there recently with the support that's coming for the show, which enabled me then to print off all of those letters. Like all of those letters, had I been going out to the local internet shop and getting them printed, like 200 letters, 10 cent a sheet or something like that, I think it is. Like you're talking like it all adds up. So being able to go down and get a printer there to carry out these campaigns has been incredibly helpful too. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the support that's coming through the show here, just furthering my ability to fight for cannabis legalisation in Ireland. So again, guys, thanks very much for all of that. Orange Man Bad says, Drew Harris needs his P45 along with Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Greens. We need new blood. Yes, we do. Are you waking up, my little man? Oh, I think somebody is finally waking up. Pop him up, man. I'm going to say hi to everybody out there. Oh. You turn him around, everybody get a good old look at you. Oh. Right, my little man. As I say, guys, this guy's well overdue a bottle now. Oh, the eyes are open. Oh, he's an old slob, like, he really is, like, he loves his comfort. Get a cheeky old smile from him from time to time then as well. Love it. Right, I'm gonna hand this little man over to my assistant in the background, and I'll be back with you guys to sign off very briefly. So give me just 10 seconds there, and I'll hand this little man over to my assistant. And I have his bottle ready and everything. I was ready to feed him, but we have to head off there shortly. So my assistant is going to help me out, get him ready for his his next meeting. Say bye to everybody, Elijah. Say bye. Hey. Yes, I can get my headphones back on there now. Sounds a bit more normal. Kind of felt weird there not having my headphones on throughout the whole of that. But yeah, guys, thanks very much everybody for tuning in today. And we've about 10 minutes there up until the 4:20 rolls around. So I do have one more headline lined up for you, and that's coming out of Malaysia. And in a strange turn of events, for once, it's actually positive news out of Malaysia. Malaysia are actually opening up their country for the importation and use of medical cannabis, which is positive news in certain respects. But they're not really reforming their laws there as such. They're just making an allowance now for the medical use of cannabis. Which is interesting. You know, one of those cases that we covered there not too long ago in Malaysia was of a man who was actually getting cannabis to use for medicinal reasons. I believe he was getting it for treating a cancer, and that guy got sentenced to death. Which is really crazy. But, you know, in a strange turn of events anyway, the health minister over there, and I don't know, can I pronounce his name? Um, Kyrie, Kyrie Jamaluddin. I believe that's the health minister of Malaysia. And yeah, he's basically saying that the Malaysian government are going to allow for the importation and use of cannabis for medicinal purposes only, and only if the products comply with the government's regulations. Now, I have no idea as to what those regulations are. Will it be as restrictive as Ireland's one? Will they allow for cannabis to be used for, say, chronic pain patients, which is its most cited use, especially in places like the UK and the US? Over 70% of people who are using cannabis use it for treating pain. So will theirs be a bit more liberal in that regard? Interesting, but you know, as I said, a very strange one to be getting a positive news article in regards to cannabis out of Malaysia. So that is welcoming. Just going to fix my camera there. It's off because of having light on. That's a little bit better. Lovely stuff. So yeah, that's coming out of Malaysia anyway. So hopefully here in Ireland very soon we will open up the door for patients suffering with chronic pain to get access to cannabis. But unfortunately, you know, they still haven't listed it yet. And they still keep citing, you know, there's not enough evidence there, despite the fact that there's how many bloody patients out there right now using cannabis for chronic pain. Like, you know, they even given patients here in Ireland a license for chronic pain to use cannabis, but they're still not acknowledging the fact that it's effective for that reason. Absolutely mad. Sorry, I was just noticing shapes in my face there coming in from the sunshine outside. So yeah, that is it for today's 420 news. Hope you all enjoyed that, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed having Elijah on there as well. I see lots of you saying goodbye there as well as Elijah left. And thanks very much as well for all of the congratulations coming through. Ashlyn saying gorgeous, guys, well done, thanks very much. And Jamaican as well saying lovely little fella, thanks. And yeah, I'd agree with you there as well. R420 Supplies, it is a fantastic community. There's out there, Dave Gorman says Elijah is a good name. Thanks very much. Um, When I was thinking about it, I wasn't too big on Elijah when it was first proposed to me. But then when I got to think about it, it's just kind of like, yeah, I like Elijah. Yeah, Ja Rastafari. Yes, one love and Ja. So yeah, Elijah and Daniel then after my late cousin. So yeah, I couldn't think of any other people, better people to be giving him a name after. Any other better person to be giving him a name after. Um, Others out there, Hunter Case, are yeah, the boys having a conversation. Orange Man Bed. It's just a load of hemp seeds. Got thousands of the things. Yeah, yeah, that's true actually. And 100K is talking about the upcoming springtime. You know, coming spring next year, we're definitely going to hit the ground running for the Feed the Birds campaign. There's talks already about different events that we're going to run and the run up to that. So we're looking at getting sponsors at the moment. So if there's people out there, and if you're suppliers of seeds, so we're looking to get seed companies to sponsor the run up to next year's Feed the Birds event. So we're hoping to do a weekly competition where we give away some great cannabis seed strains, seeds, souvenirs now, guys, souvenirs to be kept for the time when cannabis is legal to grow. But we'll give away a cannabis souvenir seed pack every week to some lucky listeners of the show out there, all in an effort of promoting the Feed the Birds campaign and getting more people involved again, and to get some great seeds out there for people to have in their possession for when cannabis does become legal. And it is coming, you know, guys. It is coming. Like, you know, I'm forever going to be of the belief that it's always within, you know, our grasp. Dave Gorman as well says, "Wow, that's going to be a problem because most of Asia will kill you or lock you up for life for having any cannabis." Yeah, you know, and that's what I would say. You know, kind of depending on your perspective and things, whether that's good or bad news, because like there's people over there on the ground, I would imagine, in Malaysia, much like myself, who've been active and wanting to be involved in the cannabis scene. And it's going to be no. This is for the GW Pharmaceuticals, the Jazz, you know, the Tilrays, the Auroras. This is going to be for those guys. It's not going to be for your local Malaysian farmer who would like to be able to grow cannabis at a high quality and a high standard and provide it for the local community there. Then for the medicinal benefits of the community, it so that's why I would say, you know, like it's positive news depending on your perspective on this, because I can certainly see the negative side of that then as well, as to how the local community are going to get cut out of this, and maybe even taking advantage of foreign nationals coming in for the cheap labour, you know, all of that. And yeah. But as I say, I hate being so negative. It's always good to have some positive news, like so. But I don't want to be ignorant to the negative that's in it either. Paddy Day 5 says, hopefully next year I'll be planting loads of autos around my area. Go on, Pod, you legend. Love it. Can't wait to see all of those photos coming in again next year. Scal says, I got a €350 fine in 2016 for an empty grinder. The court put it down to €5 worth of weed, and all there was dust at the bottom of it. But they want me back to court in February 22 to pay it. Effing wankers. Yeah, messed up, isn't it? Ooh. 30 seconds there, guys. 30 seconds. Oh, crap. I'm just going to have to minimize this one so the clock keeps counting down. There we go. Decent. 15 seconds. I can't blaze up in the studio. And it's too late to get the vaporizer warmed up. Oh, well. Guys, everybody out there, do me a favor. Blaze one up for me. It's 420. Yay! Woo! So do me a favor and blaze one up, as I can't do it right now. The studio is currently a smoke-free zone. Yeah, adjustments happen to be made, but hopefully soon we'll be able to move the studio to a more accommodating fixture where we won't have to have such restrictions in place. Restrictions. Yes, I can hear the bulbs going. I can hear the lighters sparking off out there, guys. Nice one. Appreciate that, guys. Yes, see just scrolling down through the comments there. Shit in the bucket says, "Congrats again, Martin. Keep them coming. Nice one. Shit in the bucket. Really appreciate that, buddy." Orange Man Bad says, "I'll be feeding them, all right." The birds, that is. Yes, love it. Looking forward to it already. Gabberhead as well out there. What's happening, Martin? But hope you're well and the little one is doing good. Gabberbud, if you're only just joining us now, Elijah joined us there, but was tuckered out throughout the whole show. He was just doing an old supervisor's job, keeping me in my place. But yeah, we did have a very special guest here on today's 420 News. It was my buddy and my new best pal, Elijah Daniel. Just pop that off. Mustawa says, "See if we can sit a deal." Novelty beans, wink wink, yes, dead right, novelty beans, Dave. You said it, buddy. Green Tea says, "I've loads of seeds here. I'll be surreptitiously planting." Yes, love it. Other comments out there as well. Dave Gorman says, "No, I'm in the door." And Chilbert UK says, "Late but happy 420 all." Yes, nice one, Chilbert. Billy Bond says, 2 minutes. Yes, we were counting it down. And F. Macion, time for an Irish medical cannabis company. Man, you said it, like, if there was ever a need for it, like, it's now. So many people are interested in accessing cannabis from its medicinal properties, and yet so many Irish people are being locked out of the market, of the industry. And Chilbert has been trimming hard. Nice to hear. Hopefully you're enjoying that and you got a good pair of scissors there and you're not getting any of the old welts on the hands from using the scissors for like 8 hours non-stop. Those things can sting. Dave Gorman says, "Hit me up in the comment section of my channel and I can set you on the path." Go on, Dave. Nice one. I'm just looking through any other comments. Shit in the bucket says, "Sure, you can walk into a shop and buy seeds. That's like halfway legal. You just can't water them like like gremlins." You're saying, yeah, yeah, that's often right. Like, yeah, cannabis seeds are 100% legal. The act of cultivation is what's illegal. Yeah. Hunter K says, "Hopefully got some organic Killer Queen turning up within the next week or two. Can't effing wait." Nice. That sounds like an epic strain, in fairness. Like, I love the strain names of cannabis. That they really do get you thinking, and yeah, sometimes even just the names is like, "Oh geez, my mouth's watering." Purple Urkel is another one there coming in from Bernard. Splendid. Yeah, I've heard of that one before, but haven't had the pleasure of tasting it at all. And Husky says, "Martin, are you still in the Squid Games?" I am indeed, Husky. I am indeed. I don't know, is that going ahead this evening? Is it going ahead during the session, or is it next Wednesday again? I think it's next Wednesday again. Or maybe it could be Sunday that the guys are doing another session at the Squid Games. But the High and Homegrown lads are doing a Squid Games, and it was great crack. I have to say, it was good crack there now the other night. Good bit of banter. So I really enjoyed that, and I really do look forward to winning that light. Podge 85, hope you have a brilliant weekend, Martin, and hope the appointment goes well and you can relax later with a bowl. Yes, indeedy, I look forward to an old bowl there now once we get back, alright. And Chilbert UK says, "The scissor hash is awesome." Oh, yeah, just not enough of it. There never is, Chilbert, there never is. But yeah, that's scissor hash, like, honest to God, guys, if you've never tried it, ooh, me. Honestly, like, it's just something like money can't buy, really, because as Chilbert says, you just can't get enough of it. And it's just, oh, it's so tasty. I like to leave it on the scissors when I help my buddy trim for like a day or so, just so it dries, and it dries really quick and it gets really crisp then, and put that in a bowl. Oh my goodness, the flavors are just out of this world. Definitely, Martin, some names out there are brilliant. Yeah, dead right, Hunter K. And Green Tea says, "You have to make a honeycomb." No joke, you have to make a honeycomb. Right, I'm gonna have to try that out sometime. So green tea. Send me on instructions. Podge 85, high and homegrown tonight at 9 p.m. on YouTube. Yes, there you go. Be there, be square, guys. Great place to hang out. All sorts of stoner antics going on over there. Great cannabis community, great vibes, great crack. Really enjoy it myself. So do check it out if you haven't already done so. As I say, we do share quite a lot of audience members. So I'm just looking at the names here. It's like, yeah, got lots of regulars here of high and homegrown as well. So it's great. I love the fact that me and the guys can share a community like that and have such great banter back and forth together as well. So long may that continue. um, right, so guys, I will have to love you and leave you. Husky says you may need to check the forum to enter next round tonight, Martin. Yeah, I've got my number in already. I'm number one. Alexis helped me pick that. I was feeling about picking number one, and I said it to Alexis, and I was like, Alexis, what number should I pick? 1, 2, 3, or 4? And she said 1. And I was like, right, that's it. It's 1. So we're number 1, and we're gonna win. So yes, guys, I'll see you over at the High and Homegrown session tonight at 9 p.m. And if not, I will see you back here on Monday, guys, for more 420 news antics. And yeah, until then, guys, stay blazed, keep it lit, be safe out there, guys. Watch out for those old blue bottles flying around in the squad cars and unmarked ones as well. Not nice, guys, to get stung by. But yeah, guys, much love, peace, bye bye.